Oh yeah! It's a regional semifinal from the Georgia Dome here in the ATL. And a battle of the cats. Which one of these two is going to get more wild? Number 3, Villanova, and number 2, Kentucky. Both of them have tasted NCAA glory before, but only one will continue their journey tonight. Rogo on the mic with you. That's right. Little player comparison. Jay Moore, Justin Moore, Tyrese Maxey, and the rest of the Kentucky Wildcats. We got the number 1 team out of each of their respective conferences. You look at some of the keys to the game. Oh, note that. Second key for both of these teams, take good shots. Thanks, Captain Obvious. We're about set to tip this one off. And happy to have you along here on Ghostcast, the only place that you are finding the madness of March as we continue to bring you all the way through now into the regional semifinals. Round 1 done. Round 2 is done. Both of these teams have 2 wins under their belt. Who will continue on? We are about to find out. Kentucky with the first possession of the evening here in hot Atlanta, and driving down the lane there is Emmanuel Kickley, but he cannot hit that short-range jumper. And so Kentucky come up with nothing their first trip down the floor, but a steal on Villanova's first possession of the night will turn that ball back over. And so the Wildcats of Kentucky with the all-white uniforms, blue numbers on their back. Ball into the hands of Keon Brooks Jr. Swinging it through. Nick Richards will keep the ball at the top just outside the three-point line. And now out onto the wing here. Penetration from Maxey. Gets it back into the hands of Richards, who can't miss. No, he can miss. He misses the short, chippy one. And here comes Villanova. Jay Wright, the 58-year-old coach, now in his 19th season, hoping he can maybe capture a 3rd NCAA title in less than a decade with Nova. Gillespie to the elbow. Raises his own elbows here. Short little pass there for Justin Moore in the lane, and one. And the freshman guard will have a chance to head to the line for the 3-point play. Got into the lane, took the contact, made the jumper, and now looking to cash in on the free throw, and he does. And so it's an early lead for Villanova as Tyrese Maxey picks up his first foul of the night. Let's see what kind of response we have from Kentucky Blue. Out top into the hands of Brooks, swinging it over to the corner, looking for a long distance 2. No, and the follow-up opportunity there for E.J. Montgomery won't go either. Horrible from the floor so far to get things started for Kentucky, but yet they only find themselves down by 3. Into the hands of Sadiq Bey, the leading scorer, who's had a very quiet tournament, if you ask me. Remember, Villanova had a little scare in the first round against Hofstra, came back in the second half with authority. Here's Bey on the block, trying to work, turnaround jumper, it rattles in and out. Good defense there from Kentucky. Kentucky Blue looking to get out in transition. Pass intercepted by Nova. Back the other way. Here comes Colin Gillespie. Throws it down the lane, and Bey has his first points of the night. 5-0 Nova here in the early going of this first half. Kickley looked like he wanted to penetrate. Everyone loves a little penetration, but instead he backed back out into the hands of Brooks Jr. Still can't hit from close range, and it's over so far here in the opening minutes of the first half for Kentucky. Down the lane, baseline jumper, that is good. Justin Moore capitalizing. He's got 5 first half points. You hear Coach Wright on the sideline. Yeah, we're on a good run. Keep it up. Another turnover now for Kentucky. Back the other way for Jermaine Samuels, the junior from Franklin, Massachusetts. Back out top here for Samuels. He'll back it out. 3-2 zone. Meantime, defensively, Bey, cross-court pass. Samuels looking to drain the 3. That's off the front of the iron. And it's Kentucky, who have yet to score, trailing by 7, who come down with the ball off the glass. One of these cats is going to have a bit of purr at the end of the night. The other one's going to have a little grrr. So far, 7-0 in favor of Nova. Montgomery, right out top, as Kentucky settle into their half-court offense. Maxey passing into the lane. Brooks Jr. turnaround shot, and there's some points for Kentucky to get things going. They break the 7-0 run by Nova to get things started here tonight in Atlanta. And it's a 5-point game. Sadiq Bey, out top. He's the leading scorer for Villanova, but as I said, he's had a quiet tournament. Jermaine Robinson now spinning with the pivot foot in the paint, passes it back out top here for Justin Moore. The freshman will reset for Villanova. Makes his way onto the left wing. High screen and roll game. Baseline jumper from Justin Moore, who is off to a hot start. He's got 7 of the opening 9 points here for Villanova as they push it back to a 7-point lead. We're under 6 minutes to play in this first half. Kentucky looks like they want to try and get the ball down low and use a little bit of a size mismatch there. Into the lane. Richards pulls up his dribble. He'll pass back out onto the perimeter. Jermaine Samuels getting over there to defend. Shot clock winding down as they go back in for Nick Richards. The big fella spins to his left. Shot clock winding down. Fadeaway jumper is good from Richards. The native of Kingston, Jamaica, hits his first bucket of the night, and it's a 9-4 lead for Villanova. Moore, boy, he's even hot, backs it out, full head of steam, kicks it out for Gillespie for 3! Oh, I love this start for Jay Wright and the Villanova Wildcats. Might we see a timeout from Coach Cal? He's going to let him play here. Into the hands of Kickley. Cross-court pass, Maxey going to put it down onto the post. Montgomery. Double teamed in the post, splits the double team, cross-court skip pass. Another skip pass, this time into the hands of Maxey. And again, the defense of Villanova forcing late into the shot clock on this possession. Turnaround jumper in and out of the fingertips of E.J. Montgomery. 8-point lead for Villanova, and they'll look to add to it here. Down the lane goes Robinson, hangs up in the air, but he can't hit from close range. And so a defensive stop for the Kentucky Wildcats. Crowd starting to get a little louder here in the late minutes of this first half as Kentucky missing again another 0 for trip down at the offensive end of the floor. So it'll stay 12-4 in favor of Nova. Samuels passing out onto the perimeter. Samuels will take it back out top. Aaron Andrews, just ignore that report from her. That's part of the world feed. No peepholes here. Back out top now. Nova into the hands of Justin Moore. Spins into the lane. Goes to the glass. Oh, and it won't go. Good rebound there from the big fella Nick Richards. He averages almost 8 rebounds a game. That is best for the Kentucky Wildcats. And he's pulled down a couple already here tonight. Into the hands of Montgomery. Swings it across for Maxey. Back into the hands of E.J. Montgomery. And now Maxey again. A little two-man game out on the perimeter here between the two Kentucky Wildcats. It's Brooks. Swings it into the hands of Kickley. Kickley's jumper off the glass, but it won't go. Coach Wright yelling for his team to be aggressive and get back down the floor. They lead by 8. Samuels backing it out. Back into the hands of Jermaine Samuels. To the corner. Another 3. Oh, and it's good for Gillespie. Colin Gillespie had a huge game in the opening round and a win against Hofstra where they came back after being down at the half to win going away. And he hits a 3 there to extend it to a double-digit lead for the first time tonight here for Villanova. Kentucky looking for some answers as we're down to 2.5 minutes to play in this first half. Maxey into the hands of Kickley. Top scorer for Kentucky. He's been quiet so far here in the first half. Fadeaway jumper at the free throw line won't go. And a lot of forced fadeaway shots by the Villanova defense has forced Kentucky to come up over on several trips down the floor. Into the lane. Floating. Short jumper along the baseline for Justin Moore. That won't go. One of the few things he hasn't done right tonight, my friends. Maybe Kentucky can take it back to single digits here. Kickley from the wing, trying to penetrate, but it's suffocating defense. You can't breathe, hanging in the air, and a foul on the arm. And I think that's going to be free throws here for Emmanuel Kickley. As a couple of fresh bodies come out onto the floor, maybe that'll change up the mojo for Kentucky. The sophomore from Maryland heads to the line for a pair. Smooth stroke to drop down the first one. By the way, line was set in Vegas right before the closing tip. it actually had Kentucky favored by 3.5 in this one. Top team out of the SEC, certainly hasn't looked like it so far here tonight down in Atlanta. Little three-quarter press now for the Kentucky Wildcats as Villanova try and break that press. Trapped out at center court. And finally settling into their offense. Nearly a turnover, but it comes back out. And now into the hands of 33, Will Trill. Turnaround jumper for Trill. That won't go, and the rebound is pulled down by Kentucky. So some bench players coming into the game now for Coach Jay Wright and Villanova, hoping maybe they can keep this lead intact. 9-point lead for Villanova as we tick down to our minute. Make it a 7-point lead now with that bucket. Jay Nash passes over into the corner, back into the hands of Nash. He'll whip it around. Doesn't look like he wants anything to do with a shot from the perimeter. Who will shoot the ball now, as it's an entire bench unit out there for Coach Wright and Villanova. Calling out the play late in the shot clock is 42, Big Blue. Goes to the left hand. Getting into the lane. He'll pull up for the 10-foot jumper, but a foul on the arm. Kickley going to come back in the game, at least for this final minute of play. And I will Kickley open up one of these cold ones for the final minute of this first half. Yeah! First one is good. A little flip of the script here from Villanova. Exactly the opposite of what they did in their opening round win against Hofstra, where they found themselves down at the half but simply suffocated Hofstra in the second half and one going away by double digits. They followed that up with a win against number 6 in the region, Penn State, and now they find themselves here in a 2 versus 3 matchup of the Wildcats. We're getting wild, freaky deaky here tonight, hanging in the air, but the shot won't go. Nick Richards heading to the free throw line. His teammates trying to hype him up. He's going to need it. So here is the big fella. Shoots 73% from the free throw line on the season. That stroke looked pretty good. Lists his favorite reggae artist as Shaggy. Shorty, you're my angel. You're my darling angel. Richard makes a pair, and it's now a 7-point game as we're down to the final 20 seconds or so of this first half. Villanova had a double-digit lead moments ago. They turned that one over. It's Richards, the angel, back into the passing lane with the interception. Now here comes Kentucky. Chance to cut it down to maybe a 4-point game. Shot won't go. Rebound Villanova. Still time to take it across the timeline. Into the lane goes Gillespie. He'll have to fire it up from the free throw line, and it's good! Colin Gillespie, with the clock winding down, hits the shot, and it is a 9-point lead for the Villanova Wildcats. So the number 3 seed currently ousting the number 2 seed if it was all said and done right now. But of course, one half of basketball here in the regional semifinal does not make for a victory. You look at some of the numbers. Defensive rebounding in favor of Nova. They shot the lights out from 3, 100% from the perimeter, and 53% from the field as a whole. So Coach Calipari and the Wildcats going to have some work to do as we get back into some action. Second half action for you. 9-point lead for Nova. Happy to have you along here on Ghostcast, the only place you're finding March Madness this time of year. Rogo on the mic with you as we get back into some live action here. Number 1 from the Big East, Villanova currently with 19 as we get into the second half. And number 1 out of the SEC, the Kentucky Wildcats, with 10 so far as they trail by 9. Opening 3 will go down. Emmanuel Kickley from the 3 on the wing. And just like that, the lead goes from 9 to 6. Yeah, see how quick my math is? See how Villanova responds. Justin Moore guiding the offense. Quick bounce pass into Gillespie on the post. Immediately double teamed And he lost his dribble as well. Swatted away. Bay had a chance to recover it, but instead it's Kentucky that pick up the basketball. Here comes Kickley. Had his dribble picked up straight away out at the three-point line. Into the hands now of Brooks Jr. Keith. Sounds like a country singer, but he's really a Kentucky Wildcat. And a pass out of bounds. An ill-timed turnover there. As you look at the backcourt production for Villanova, just firing. Responsible for 15 of the 19 points for the Nova Wildcats, and that's the reason they find themselves in front by 6 early here in the second half. Spinning into the lane is Moore, hanging, but he couldn't get it to fall. And that's going to be the second foul on Nick Richards. No, it's his first for Richards, who has 4 points so far in the ballgame tonight. But more importantly, as you look over at the Kentucky bench, yeah, not a lot of smiles over there as Justin Moore will go to the line. Remember, he opened the game with a three-point play, his first trip to the free throw line, after getting the and one. And now this is his first trip to the line here in the second half. Villanova came into the tournament last week when their opening round win against Hofstra, winning 7 of their last 8. So they're on a bit of a hot streak. Compare that with the couple of wins that they had here in the tournament already. They've got wins in 9 of their last 10 outings. Part of the reason that Nova Blue is looking good is the fadeaway from Kickley. He was fading out of bounds on this near sideline, and yet he drops the 3. We're back to a real game here. 21-16, Villanova. Wildcats out in front. Down the lane goes Gillespie, floating up and in. Thought maybe could have been an offensive foul there. No whistles, though, from the guys in stripes as Richards was there to defend for Kentucky. Back into the hands of Maxey. The freshman out of Garland, Texas, passes it into the hands of Kickley. He's had the hot hand so far here in the second half. Back to Maxey, throws it underneath, and an easy look there. But E.J. Montgomery comes up empty. Here comes Villanova. Moderate tempo as they press it across the NCAA logo at half court. Bay, and into the hands of Gillespie. Gillespie floating in the air. A wild and out of control shot, and that goes off the backboard and off the rim and into the hands of Kickley. Oh, Kentucky would love to get another 3 here. I don't know that Keith Brooks Jr. on the perimeter is the guy you want to have it in his hands. Instead, it's Tyrese Maxey, and now Brooks Jr. again. Oh, what a reach-in foul. And it's going to go against Jermaine Samuels. Got caught trying to force the steal there. That's 2 fouls on the night against the junior from Franklin, Massachusetts. Fresh shot clock for Kentucky as they trail by 7. Montgomery. Great pass on the backdoor cut. And Tyrese Maxey should be headed to the line for a pair. Samuels picks up his 3rd. Excellent backdoor cut there from Tyrese Maxey. And now it's the Villanova bench that have a little bit of cause for concern on their face. Maxey will head to the line. 79% free throw shooter on the season. That one. Right through the twine. Dead center for the first one. Can he knock down the second? And bring it back to a 5-point lead for Villanova. 7:04 to go here in the second half. Both the free throws for Maxey are good. Coach Calipari pacing on the sidelines just off the end of that Kentucky bench. He knows his team is going to have to execute down the stretch here in this one. Sadiq Bey with the pass and a turnover. Great hands there from E.J. Montgomery. He's been quiet offensively, but he comes up with a timely steal there. Nova trying to turn up the defense. Brooks with the cross-court pass for Kickley. Back out top here for Keon Brooks Jr. I called him Keith earlier, but that's what his good friends call him. It's Keon, Rogo. It's Keon. See if he can key on here on this offensive trip down the floor. Instead, it's Kickley who's been the hot hand here in the second half. And he is single-handedly bringing Kentucky basketball back to life here as they only trail by 1 possession. 23-20. Pass down the lane. Floating shot is good. It was Sadiq Bey who got himself into the interior there, floated one up and in with his right hand, back to a 5-point Nova lead. 3-ball finally starting to fall here in the second half for Kentucky, but will it be enough to get them over the hump? Montgomery down underneath. Richards turns around and a short-range 2-point jumper is good. Nick Richards, usually a defensive standout for these Kentucky Wildcats, but he's making his way into the offensive stats here tonight. Up and underneath, rolled in with the right hand, but it goes halfway down and out for Jermaine Samuels. 5.5 minutes to play, and Kentucky only find themselves down by 3. In the first half, it got up to an 11-point lead for Nova. Back out top now here for Montgomery. They swing it all the way through into the hands of Brooks. Down onto the block for Richards. Trying to spin his way into the lane. That's good defense there from Samuels. Turnaround from Richards is good. That's the horns from Kingston, Jamaica, all the way here to Atlanta. Up and underneath, and an easy finish there for Jermaine Samuels. Hasn't done much offensively here tonight, but he got that one to fall. And it's a 3-point game. Kentucky maybe looking for a 3. Brooks had a wide open look at it, passed it up, passes back out to the perimeter. Maxey back underneath for Brooks. His turnaround jumper is good. The small forward from Fort Wayne, Indiana, has made it just a 1-point game. Now the pressure squarely on the shoulders of the Villanova Wildcats. This is Justin Moore. He was an offensive force all by his lonesome in the first half. They swing it all the way across for Gillespie. Now on the block for Bay. Turnaround jumper. No! And the defense for Nova will be tested here as we're down to 4 minutes to play here in the second half, and a chance for Kentucky to take their first lead of the night. Cross-court pass. Maxey back out top here for Brooks. Trying to find the pass down low. Instead of Tyrese Maxey. Into the hands of Richards, and he hits again from the elbow. Nick Richards absolutely on fire here over the last 3 or 4 minutes, and he has given Kentucky their first lead of the night, 28-27. How does Villanova respond? This one could come down to free throw shooting, folks. 3.5 minutes to play. Bay spinning into the lane, pulled up his dribble, also picked up his pivot foot, but no whistle. Down the lane and back out into the hands of Moore, trying to penetrate, cross-court pass. The jumper and a 3 is good for Samuels. With the shot clock beginning to wind down, under 7-8 seconds, and Jermaine Samuels into a 3. They're actually going to say it was a long 2, and a foul on the arm back at the other end of the floor. So just a 1-point lead here as Robinson heads to the bench. Meanwhile, it's Tyrese Maxey to the line for a pair. Oh, that one was definitely off to the side of the iron as soon as it left his fingertips. Maybe the pressure getting to the freshman just a little bit here as he steps to the charity stripe. Got to make your free throws. That's why we call him free, and he misses them both. So it's Colin Gillespie now who will bring the ball across center court. Nova with a 1-point lead, and they'll settle into their half-court set. Robinson. Back out top. Gillespie spinning into the lane. Into the hands of Bay. Drives down onto the baseline. Oh, and he picked up his dribble. That might be costly. No, back into the hands of Moore. Another 3, and that one will go down for Samuels. Samuels only shoots about 31% from three-point range, but he's found a couple that he's stepped right into here in the second half. Back to a 3-point lead for Villanova. Richards calling for it on the block. Instead, here onto the wing into the hands of Maxey. Double team. Skip pass all the way across into the hands of Kickley, and he knocks down a 3, and we're tied at 31 apiece. What a game here tonight in Atlanta. The South Region semifinal, the winner will take on the winner of Baylor and Yale. Down the lane. looking for some room to operate here with a game tied at 31. Gillespie finds Sadiq Bey. Sadiq Bey passes back out onto the perimeter into the hands of Justin Moore. Back down onto the block for Bey. Turnaround right-handed shot won't go. And it's Kentucky with a chance to regain the lead here in the second half as we are almost down to a minute left to play here in the second half. Maxey. Both teams locking it up tightly here with defense. Who doesn't like it tight? Elbow jumper from Richards is good. He's been fantastic here in the second half as he gives Kentucky a 2-point lead. Down the lane, shot won't go. But Samuels, who's been great here in the second half, looks for an opportunity. And instead, they're going to call out an offensive foul against Jermaine Samuels. What are the guys in the zebra stripes thinking? Remember, 3.5-point line closing in Vegas before we tipped off tonight here in this one. And a reach-in foul. Second whistle tonight against Justin Moore, the star guard for Villanova. He's got 9 points. He's played a heck of a game here tonight, as it's a 2-point lead for Kentucky. Coach Cal trying to lead these Kentucky Wildcats to his second NCAA title as their head coach here in his 11th season with Kentucky Blue. No foul here from Villanova for good reason. If they can get a defensive stop, anything is possible. Maxey, pass underneath for Richards. Back out top for Brooks. Shot clock down to 10. Defended there by Samuels. Back out top into the hands of Kickley. He'll penetrate. Kicks it out to the corner. Late shot clock and it goes down for Tyrese Maxey. Baby boy, Tyrese Maxey knocking down the jumper, and all of a sudden it's a 4-point game. Yeah, the Kentucky fans are loving every bit of it. Don't get into your cartwheels just yet, Wildcat. We've seen anything happen here in March Madness, and that's why it is all about the madness. Here we go. Oh, look at this. We've brought it to you all tournament long. Unbelievable inside access into the huddles. Some of the best commentating you're ever going to hear. And one of these teams will be moving on to the South Region Final. 4-point game. You got to hurry up and get off a shot. Moore, and he turns it over, and a foul with just seconds left. Oh, and Jay Wright is beside himself. Can't blame him. 4.6 left. Villanova quickly fouling in the backcourt, as that'll be the third foul whistled on Justin Moore. And all of a sudden it's dejection over there on the Villanova Wildcats bench. Can't say that I blame him. You send Tyrese, baby boy Maxey, back to the line. Remember, he missed a pair a while ago, but he's not going to miss again here in crunch time, ladies and gentlemen. No, 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 no. Second one is also good. And a timeout called by Villanova as they trail by 6. Kentucky all but through into the South Region Final, and they will be one win away from heading to the Final Four. Jay Wright throwing his hands up inside the Villanova huddle. I don't know, some of his coaching decisions here in the second half haven't exactly been of championship caliber. So as the Villanova Wildcats break the huddle, they trail by 6, 37-31, with just 2.7 remaining. It's a half-court heave, and it won't go. 37-31. It's Kentucky Blue that is moving on to the South Region Final. And the journey, after 2 wins, comes to a close here in Atlanta, Georgia for Villanova. The players will meet at center court in a sportsmanship-like gesture, shaking hands in this one. And Kentucky will wait for the winner of the Baylor-Yale other semifinal here in the South Region. 37-31, your final here on ghostcast. It's Kentucky moving on.